Meds. Thanks for joining me all the way back from New York. And let's just start with how you're doing, your family, everybody being right next to, the hardest hit spot in the United States in Manhattan.
Well, Amy, great to see you. Honestly, this is weird doing this like this,
I know.
but it's great seeing you.
I'm not there like stalking you in the dugout saying, "Hey Joe, what time are you gonna be
Yeah,
ready today?"
I know it's a little different,
A little
but
different.
yeah. But thanks for asking. I mean, listen, everybody in my family is healthy. People
Good.
close to me, everybody's been healthy. See, I'm about like an hour 15 north of New York City, so I'm kind of a little bit out of the way. I'm far enough away
Okay.
where the hard hit spots in New York City, Manhattan, Queens, Brooklyn, all those areas.
Yeah.
I've been pretty fortunate that nobody close to me has been impacted. So kind of
Good.
just hunkering down here and just doing some yard work, doing some stuff around the house, and
Yeah.
trying to just get ready for baseball season.
What does that look like for you, Joe, regarding trying to stay in shape? I've talked to so many guys about their approach to baseball activity without baseball. And there's this great range of, like, Hunter Pence was like, "I'm going hard every day," right? Shocker. And
Yeah.
Mike Yastrzemski was like, "I'm going at like 60%. So you don't have a true date to work
Yeah.
towards. How are you handling that?
Yeah, it's a fine line. Like you said, there's no date. So like in the off season, we have November,
Yeah.
December, January, then February is go time. So it's like, all right, you kind of build yourself up. Or Hunter, he's just going to be all out every month. But like you kind of build like your baseball capacity, kind of build up.
Right.
So right now, especially like in New York, we have like the stay-at-home order, all that.
Yeah.
Like businesses are closed, like the gym I work out at in the off season's closed, the hitting facility's closed, everything is closed here. So right now, all I've been really doing is I have basically like a half cage in my basement.
Okay.
So I'm hitting off the tee, uh, about 4 or 5 days a week. Just
Mm-hmm.
I have like I think I bought one of those little pop-up nets that I had as like a 10-year-old,
Yeah.
and put that out in my yard, and I could probably stretch. I could throw probably up to about 150 feet.
Oh,
So,
okay.
so I've been doing that, and then my trainer gave me a barbell and some free weights, and so I'm just kind of doing enough to just kind of maintain just
Yeah.
some sort of physical shape. It's not off season like where I'm able to like kind of build. Right now
Yeah.
I'm just going to maintain just my swing, just try to keep my
Mm-hmm.
mechanics going. Throwing wise, just again, I'm not throwing every day because I'm not trying.
Yeah.
Nobody knows when we're going to start, so it's like, all right, I'm just going to try to keep my arm moving, and then just working out a little bit here and there.
Yeah, it's a very interesting scene to watch you guys try not to tap out too early, and find that sweet spot of, okay, I'll be ready to go when we get the call. So, but I'm glad that you're safe back in New York. I'll be honest. I mean, I'm not happy that you're in New York. I was not happy last season when we all found out that Joe Panik had been traded, and it never gets easy, especially in a broadcasting role where we really feel like we get to know you guys, and so much of what we deliver to the fan base is based on our genuine friendships and relationships with the players. And I know every day everybody is available, but you kind of think, well, it won't happen here. It wouldn't happen to Joe. So what can you share about that day and when you received the news that the team you had known and had so much success with was going to part ways?
That was one of the toughest, probably the toughest moment in my baseball career I've ever had. Obviously, in my baseball career, that conversation with Boch, it was, Boch has meant so much to me in my career. Just the relationship, I remember walking into my first spring training at 21 years old, and they're, meeting Boch in 2012, and that run had with Boch, the only manager I've known, all that stuff. That was a very, very tough conversation. A couple like the moments leading up to that day, like when they traded for Scooter Gennett, I kind of had to prepare my mind. You kind of had it in the back of your mind that this could happen.
Yeah.
At the same time, like, I've played with Buster, I've played with Brandon, the two Brandons, all these guys, Madison,
Yeah.
for my entire career, and they were all there for well, now Matt's gone, but we've all been together for so long. I know it's
Yeah.
another sort of subject, but
Yeah. Ooh.
yeah, off to a good start.
You're doing great.
It was just you don't. It's like your brother. It's like your family.
Yeah.
Like everybody, the training staff, the strength staff, the people in the kitchen, just everybody. Amy, you,
Mm.
Kruk and Kite. I mean, everybody has treated me with such respect and love. Obviously the fans, the front office, front Larry Bear on down,
Yeah.
everybody, with so much love and respect. It's like, oh wow, yeah, now what? So that was kind of like, um, then it was the unknown. You get so comfortable, so happy with where you are. San Francisco is second home for me. So it's like, all right, well, now it's, fortunately I landed on my feet in New York, kind of back home. So that kind of helped me with that transition. But
Yeah.
like now I'm in a good place with everything, but it was a gut punch for sure.
It was.
Yeah.
Wow. That was such a hard day when we had to report it, and not hard on nearly as hard on us as it was on you. It was just kind of like somebody just took somebody away from our family. So you are still extremely missed if you didn't know that, but I would like to know how the Mets are treating you. We'll give them a pass. We're not huge fans of the organization, but now they have one of ours. So how was that transition? You did get to go back home, so you certainly had a comfort factor there,
Yeah.
and your wife's from there. So I'm sure that helped a little bit, but how was it walking into a new clubhouse, and how did the guys treat you?
So again, I was really unsure of like, it was almost like going first day of school when you move to a new city or a new town, whatever. So that's what it was. It was like nerves, excitement, everything was, it was like that first day of school again with new kids. But everybody treated me really, really well with respect. Again, coming back home, I might have made things even more like nerve wracking because now
Oh.
in San Francisco, we'd only come back to New York once a year.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's like everybody,
Hey,
yeah, it's like
Joe's back.
Exactly. Now it's like, all right, you're home now for 2 months. So it was definitely good. But again, the organization, the guys there, met some really good people, some really talented ball players, and they had a good mix of veteran guys, young guys. They had some exciting moments over there with a few of their guys. So it was fun to witness that. And honestly, I was able to kind of get back to who I was as a ball player. Kind of hit the reset button.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, sometimes I would love to have played 12 years, 10, 12, 15 years in San Francisco, but sometimes you need to hit the reset button.
Yeah.
And for me, coming back to New York, I kind of hit the reset button and fresh start, and had a good 2 months, and that led me to this off season where as a free agent I signed with Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm in a good place in Toronto. So definitely, I'm not going to say I was happy leaving San Francisco, but again, it gave me that kind of reset that some players do need.
Absolutely. I mean, a lot of people forget that it's just as much, if not more, of a mental game than it is a physical game. And when things start to creep in, sometimes you do need a new scene and a fresh start, as you said. Well, you are very missed, but I'm glad you're still having success. You're so deserving. I do want to talk about a couple of the most successful moments you've had with the San Francisco Giants that nobody will ever forget. And of course, they're involved in the 2014 playoff run. NLCS Game 5, you go yard for a 2-run home run, and you guys end up going to the World Series after that game. So can you just recap that for us, what you remember from it, what you remember going into the box and having it happen and watching it go out, whatever you can muster up. I'm sure it's still pretty vivid in your
oh yeah, there's certain moments in your career that just you could just plain as day. So just Gregor was on first base, 2 outs, we're down by 1-0 early in the game, and I'm thinking to myself, in that situation with 2 outs, you want to try to hit, drive the ball And I knew Adam Wainwright liked his cutter against me, so I'm like, just kind of going through the game planning in your head.
Yep.
So you step in the box and all your thoughts clear your head and just go to work. And I got the pitch I was looking for, and I hit it. And at first, I didn't know if it was going to go out or not because it was down the line. So I'm just kind of like watching it, and walking. And then you realize, all right, this is going to go. I'll tell you what, that was probably, one of the coolest home runs I've ever hit. Probably more special than even my first one, because like that moment in Game 5 at NLCS, I felt like my feet, I was just kind of like, running on air, just like bouncing.
Floating.
Yeah, just floating.
Yeah.
This like the crowd noise, everything was just deafening. I mean, just not too many places like Oracle. Oracle Park.
It is, or yeah, it's hard to keep up.
I know, but
It's changed a lot.
Oracle Park in October, it's not too many places like it in the world. So,
I love that.
Yeah, but that whole day, I mean, that was just a little beginning. That was like the little appetizer of that moment, the appetizer of the game. So I mean, Mikey, when he hit his tying home run in the 8th, and then Trav in the 9th. I mean, you could just.
I just got
goosebumps.
I just got them too. Ooh, from New York to California.
I know. Yeah. It's just those moments. It's those moments.
They are
moments that's what as players you work your entire life for. You train for
like one.
Yeah, one.
And you guys had a bunch.
Yeah, and it's like just special, and I talk about the fans and like that. Just how I remember Mikey when he hit his home run. Just the crowd. I talk about my home run. Mike's was as loud as I've ever heard any ballpark at any moment, anytime, including World Series, everything. I'm saying that moment, and that's what you remember, like the reaction, the atmosphere, just everything about it.
Such a cool moment in Giants history. Probably one of my favorite parts is Peavy though running out to Travis and like shortstop, and they're like, Travis is like, no, keep going. Okay, so let's get into, as you said, that was just like a little appetizer. Maybe this probably was the dessert. Game 7 of the World Series, your double play with Brandon, of course, and it saved the game. I know if Jeremy Affeldt watches this, he's gonna say, "Where's my credit? Where's my credit?"
I gotta give him the credit.
But this was that play that we saw 150% effort. You were always giving your all, but this was one of those, there was no way that ball was going to get by you. What can you share about what you remember with the ball coming your way and what needed to be done to salvage that game?
Okay, so in that moment, I'm just, because Hosmer, he's a ground ball hitter, so and Jeremy's going to throw that sinker, and it's like, all right, good chance here, ball's coming my way. But just when it got hit, the initial thinking is knock it down, just to prevent Lorenzo Cain from going to third. That's my initial reaction. Just, all right, get to the ball. Like, this is Game 7. You're gonna everything's moving so fast. So then once I caught the ball, I've never done a glove flip like that. I've done hook shots. I've done other things with the ball. That was just one of those moments. People ask me, I'll do glove flips in practice, this and that. Mm-hmm. But diving, glove flip, that was just a reaction. That was my body telling my mind, like, hey, this is how, like, in the moment, like, all right, I wasn't saying guard glove flip. It just happened. I think out of, all the ground balls, I'm comfortable throwing the ball with my glove, but sometimes you just got to do it and trust your body. And that's something Wotus always said, trust your feet, trust your body, and trust your hands. And it just happened that way. It wasn't a perfect toss to Brandon, but thankfully he's one of, the best defensive shortstops to play the game. So, he was able to stretch, catch the ball, and get off a great throw. And I cannot forget to thank Belt for the stretch, because if I don't mention Belt's name, he will see this and then text me, hey, where's my love? So Brandon, there you go.
Well, I'm going to call him out because if he texts you, lucky you, because I can't get him to text me back. So you'll have to tell me what the key is for Brandon Belt. Yes, we're calling you out. It was a nice stretch.
Yeah.
Can you just share too? I really want to know how you were feeling when you were awaiting the replay call.
Oh
I
man.
think I had chewed off all of my fingernails waiting.
Because of course Belt said that he was out, but he doesn't. I mean, he
He's out
doesn't.
very confidently. He's out.
It was just like, all right. Well, also too, I broke my belt. That's a fun fact. I don't know if people remember I broke that. So
I love these. These are the best parts.
yeah. Okay. So I'll get to the belt part after. But in that moment, you're just like, it's. I was just happy we got the out at second. So
Yeah.
I was like, okay, kind of damage mitigated. So it's okay. And then that was the check. We talked about dessert. That was the cherry on top, getting the second out. But like I said, my main goal in the whole thing was just to get the one out.
Get one. Get one.
Yeah, get one. Yeah, the second one was obviously just the sweet part of it. But
so did you find out that you broke your belt while you were waiting for the replay call?
yes. So thankfully it went to replay because it gave me time, because I looked down, because I went to, because a lot of times when you dive, Duro gets kind of stuck in your belt loop.
Yep.
In the belt. So I looked down and I'm like, the buckles kind of snapped off, and so I wasn't able to close the belt. So when I dove, the thing must have bent. So thankfully Murph was on the job. He had a belt. Yeah, Murph was on it. So
yeah,
yeah,
it would be hard to keep playing if your pants don't stay up. That could be strange.
Yeah, that would be very strange for a lot of people.
A lot of people. It is one of my favorite plays all time in all my years covering the Giants. I just love that play, and I love that it was you and Brandon involved in it. Last one for you before we let you go. You mentioned what Oracle Park, and when you were there, it was also AT&T Park. What it's like in a playoff atmosphere in October, which is probably electrifying.
Yeah.
But what is that park and all the parks that you've played in? Fans obviously think it's the best park in baseball, but it's arguably up there. What did you love about the Giants ballpark?
Oh my gosh. Where do I start? To me, there's nothing better than playing a day game at Oracle Park. The weather, because at nighttime it could be a little chilly. All the fans know that.
I know it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But man, when it's a day game, and it's low 60s, no clouds in the sky, sun, for me, just the wet, like that's probably one of my, like, in all the ballparks, like perfect settings. Day game at Oracle Park. Like I said, that's my favorite setting. I don't care about night game anywhere else or any other ballpark. Day game at Oracle Park, that takes the cake. So yeah, don't get, now I'm going to start getting emotional.
Don't get emotional. Don't get emotional.
I'm kidding. But at the infield, the way the grounds crew, like, even as Brandon, Evan, like, they take care of the infield so well there. We got lucky. We're very fortunate as infielders to have a grounds crew that takes care of our infield and does a very good job.
Yes.
It's up there with some of the best in the league. Like the Padres, they got a good infield there. There's certain ballparks that have good infields, but Oracle's right up there with all of them. I'm glad. Aren't they moving the fences now a little bit to right center?
Yes. Well, they're putting the bullpens, back under the bleachers. So,
so they're moving a little bit.
Yeah.
That was the one drawback as a hitter there for me.
I bet.
I leave and they start moving.
They're not moving them like so much that I'm not, because they didn't want to really get rid of Triples Alley entirely, but it could have helped you a little bit, probably.
Yeah, well,
sorry about that, Joe.
No. Okay.
We'll just have to get you back to the Giants someday, and then that'll all be fine.
Yeah, exactly. So,
all right, that's the plan.
Don't
tell Toronto. Don't tell Toronto.
It's okay. I'm everybody's been treating me well, so
good. All right. Well, you are very missed, and you are forever Giant in our books. Thank you for taking the time. Thank you for all you gave us as San Francisco Giants fans, and all the best to you and your family.